Hello, 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 dreamers. Perla here. As always, thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. This is going to be on the CUSP Weekly Messages. Now, this is for all of my beautiful CUSP signs out there. The video will be timestamped. So we're going to attempt number two. As I started recording a few minutes ago, as soon as I tapped into your energy, Aries Taurus, the iPad shut off. And the funny thing was that once I turned it back on, it was showing that the battery was only at 1%. And I'm like, that's impossible. It was 100%. Like, I know that for a fact. And then it shut off again. And then I was like, nah, we're not doing this. So I took the plug and I plugged it in, right? I took the cord and I plugged it in. And then I turned it on again. And as soon as I turned it on, it showed 100%. And now it's staying on. And what is funny to me with this energy is the fact that you guys are showing up in some type of environment, whether this is at work or like within family or something like that, and you're showing up as yourself and you're gravitating or you're getting a lot of attention. It is pissing somebody off. Somebody is upset about the attention that you're getting. Somebody is in their feelings about some type of attention that you're getting now, whether this is like, attention from everyone or attention from like the opposite sex or something like that. But the matter of fact here is that somebody is just upset that you're getting attention. Or for others of you, this is recognition, like you're getting recognized for something. And again, there's somebody here or maybe a group of people that are just annoyed about it. So let's continue on Aries Taurus, because again, the iPad shut off. There's something, maybe there, some of you may be dealing with some type of energy or some type of like self-doubt energy that anytime things are going good for you, somebody wants to come and like dim your light, or somebody wants to come and suck the life out of you, right? Um, when it comes to this energy, this trickster energy that keeps on showing up for whatever the reason, it's almost kind of like for a very long time, let's put it this way, a lot of you Aries Taurus cusp have lived your life or gone on with your life without really knowing the power that is within you, or how connected you truly are to the divine is what I'm picking up. There's something about your energy this week where you are fully protected with from the divine, regardless of whatever it is that is surfacing outside, right? So this whole thing, like, we're again at this point when we first started the reading, that was like the fourth time that the iPad died, quote unquote, and then turns back on its own. And again, it went to 1% of battery, and then it's like as soon as I went to reach for the charger, it was back to 100. And it's like, seriously, nah, like, we get it. There are some haters out there when it comes to the Aries Taurus. We get it, but we don't have to keep on interrupting the reading because they know that they're protected and they know that this energy is not going to reach them. And that's kind of like what it is. It's like sometimes people want to make you feel like you're that 1% when in all reality you are 100%. You are always 100% of who you are. You are always authentic. And there is somebody here that is not authentic, they're not real, and they're having a hard time seeing you shine. Okay, again, we have, as I was going to start shuffling, we have a tall tale on number 35. There's somebody here coming in with like some false illusion or some false truth about you that they want to spread or that they want to make you believe when it comes to you. And you need to stand your ground and not let anybody tell you who the hell you are. Like, no, babe, like, I know who I am. If you want to go ahead and project about yourself and about whatever, you can go ahead and sit over there on the corner by yourself, because I ain't having it. Alrighty. Taurus, Gemini cusp. Taurus, Gemini cusp. Everything is coming in groups of two for you guys this week. So um the way that the way that this energy is being interpreted is like both sides of a coin, right? So if you're feeling like really sad or something one day, you're gonna end the day feeling very joyful. If you're feeling like unbalanced or ungrounded, you're gonna end up the day feeling grounded, or vice versa. So just be aware of that. So if you wake up feeling very grounded, very joyful or whatever, just be aware that there may be something that is happening that is going to bring you to the opposite of it, if that makes sense. So why is it that this energy is coming in? This is a very a movable energy is what I'm picking up. So this is not, and again, I say this usually when I have like private clients, there's certain energies or certain things that come up in readings that it is what it is and there's no changing it. And then there are other things that we can influence when it comes to the energy and how we move within that space. So the reason why this is coming up is that if you have a day where you wake up and you feel like everything is going for you and you feel on cloud nine and et cetera, don't allow anything that happens throughout that day bring you or shift you out of that energy, because the energy this week again for you guys is like the two sides of a coin, like going from one extreme to the next, right? if you do wake up feeling sad or feeling depressed or feeling down or whatever, for whatever the reason is, just know that you have the power to shift that completely over. It's kind of like that type of dynamic that is happening this week. It's really about you guys really honing into who it is that you are and how it is that you allow outside energies influence the way that your day goes. Like you need to get a little bit stricter with how you allow outside influences to to show up in your life. I'm being completely honest. Like you sometimes you allow other people's opinion or other people's view of you dictate your mood. No, babe. No, we're not doing that anymore. Like it's 2026. Like seriously, no. You cannot still be in that energy. And I'm being completely honest. You cannot still be in that energy. Um, for some of you, this is a space where you're realizing how when you judge others, you're in reality judging a part of yourself that you cannot stand looking in the mirror. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna bite. And it's okay. It's okay because when we first realize this, it's like, oh shoot, like right. Then when you become aware of that energy, then you can start shifting it. It's like, ooh, okay, let's integrate that part of ourselves because we ain't going to be judging ourselves. We're not going to be judging others, but we're definitely not going to be judging ourselves. And sometimes it is not until we see certain things in other people that we realize that it is just a reflection of what we've been looking at or the reflection of what we have been avoiding, right? So when you're giving somebody a compliment, like, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so handsome, you're so this, you're so that, you're also giving yourself, even if it's silently, a compliment to that part of yourself that lives within you. There's a part of yourself that is needing that compliment. There's a part of yourself that is asking for that. So what tends to happen is that we tend to see it in other people and not within ourselves. So just be aware of that. But it is coming through like this judgmental type of energy. And that's why some of you are going to be triggered in the sense of like, ooh, I'm not judgmental. Yes, baby. Yes, you are. We all are up to a certain point until we become aware that we go into those spaces and we address those spaces, right? We address the space of judgment. We do the work that has to be done within that space. You're most definitely judgmental. That is just a simple fact. And I say that with all the love in my heart because that is something that you have to work on intentionally not to be, if that makes sense. Because growing up, a lot of us were brought up to be judgmental about certain stereotypes, about around certain behaviors, about certain styles, around certain foods, about certain whatever. So it is something that is so indoctrinated into so many people that when somebody brings it up like, hey, you're being judgmental, people want to get in the defense instead of going into that space and learning how to integrate that judgmental energy into who they are so that they can shift out of that space. All righty. All right. So let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card for your closing message, Taurus, Gemini. All right, what do we have, babe, here? We have the uncharted sea, number 46. For a lot of you, again, this is a space that you may have not been aware. Maybe this is a different perspective or perception of looking at this energy, right? Looking at this energy and seeing what really lies within this space instead of automatically getting defensive or automatically allowing triggers to take over or take over your mood. All right. So allow yourself to go into this uncharted sea, to go into this space of looking at these behaviors, these energies that are around you, or these energies that you are embodying from a different perspective, so that you can integrate them into who you are. Gemini, Cancer, Cusp. Gemini, Cancer, Cusp, you are hand in hand with somebody. You're gonna make something work no matter what. That is what I'm picking up. Now, again, these are collective readings, so this can be in love or this can be a collaboration. But there's something that you're not willing to give up on. There's something here that you want to see it be successful. So whether this is a relationship or a collaboration, again, this is about wanting success within a certain space with somebody. Now, I say with somebody because this is not something that you're doing by yourself. This is something that you're doing with someone else. So for those of you that are in a relationship and maybe there were things, things may have been a little stagnant or a little, dry or whatever, going to a therapist, especially like a sex therapist, is what I keep picking up. It's like a sex therapist is needed, or maybe this is like a space. And I laugh because it's just like, it's so cute, especially when you get your partner on board to try new things. But anyways, there is this space of like needing some type of therapist within a realm or an area of a relationship is what is coming up. And it does, again, it's coming up as like the sex therapist or somebody where or a space where the two of you can be completely open when it comes to like the sexual energy between the two of you, because again, there seems to have been this space where things seemed for a while like they were dried up. But that is something that is shifting this week, and that both of you are on board or on the same page of how it is that we're going to mend this. Now, for those of you that this has nothing to do with a romantic relationship and it's more like a work thing or a collaboration, this is finally either a team or a group of people finally agreeing in the direction that the company is going to move, or the direction that a project is going to move. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card as your closing message. Again, these are very quick, easy insights for the week. All right. Let it go. Number 24. In order for this energy to be embodied, moving forward within a situation, or moving forward in a romantic relationship or within a group dynamic, you're needing to let go of the control. You're needing to let go of, some of you may even have to let go of not necessarily the vision, but how a vision is going to be accomplished, if that makes sense. You may have had a more structural way that you wanted to go with things, or a very specific way that you wanted to go with things, but somebody, like maybe within the group or something, came up with an idea that is actually a lot better and a lot easier for everybody else, if that makes sense. So there is definitely like some type of surrendering that is needed within this space in order for a collaboration or relationship to continue on moving forward. Alrighty. Cancer, Leo, cusp. You need to take a break, or you need to sit down for a minute. Stop rushing through everything. Stop thinking that the clock is always against you. Um, Instead, let's learn how to lean into the rhythm of the day. And I definitely need to like talk about this more, like just like make a video about this. But each day has a rhythm, and what I mean by that is, you know how you wake up sometimes and it feels like you wake up and like the day is dragging, and it's like, oh shoot, it's only 12 o'clock in the afternoon, but you swear it feels like it's 8 o'clock at night. Or the reverse, where you feel like you wake up and then it's like next thing you know it's bedtime, right? So that's what I call like the rhythm of the day, and each day has it. And when you attune yourself to the rhythm of nature and like the earth, you can pick up on what that energy is. And you never have to be in the space where you feel like you're being rushed, right? So, like, let's say if it's a day where I wake up and I go outside and I feel into nature, and I like, whether it is cold, raining, it doesn't matter, a few minutes with the door open, or maybe sitting by the window if there's a snowstorm, and I just kind of feel, and I'm like, ooh, what is the energy for today? If it feels like it's going to be one of those days like, oh, I wake up and I go to sleep, I know that that is a day where my body is going to need more rest, that I'm not going to really be getting into anything like extra or anything like that. Now, when it feels like it's going to be one of those really long freaking days, like never ending, then I know that I am going to tackle like 90% of the things that are on my list. And I know that I'm going to have the energy. I'm not going to feel over exhausted, overtired. I'm not going to feel drained when I'm done. I'm not going to feel rushed or anything like that. So there's something about within this space, like learning to feel the rhythm of the day, that is very important for you guys. For some of you, it's just learning how to manage your time better, babe. And I know that it's not what you want to hear, but there's something here that you need to learn how to manage your time so that you're not always freaking playing catch up. Okay, you don't need to be catching up to things all the time. Now, as I'm saying that, there's something here of like somebody looking at a portrait, or a picture that is broken in half. This may be a recent breakup or something like that, and now this is probably where the rush energy is coming in. Maybe you have to move out. Maybe you have to make a bunch of other changes because an ending has occurred within a romantic relationship. And that may not be for all of you, but it's definitely for a few of you where, like, there's a deadline by where you guys have to turn in the apartment or the house or whatever it is, and you're feeling the pressure of it. And some of you are even asking whether you ended something prematurely. We have broken open, number 28. This is just the beginning, is what I want to hear. This is just the beginning of this cycle. You feel like you're definitely ending a cycle with the person, but the cycle that you started is just the beginning, or the surface of what it is that is going to transpire within the next couple of weeks. There is this reconnecting to your soul, and reconnecting again to the rhythm of nature, to the rhythm, like to your own rhythm that is happening. That relationship or whatever it was that you walked away from, love, had your nervous system like out of whack. And what I'm going to tell you is, when you are in connections, whether they're romantic or platonic, where your nervous system is like haywire, it does take some time for that nervous system to settle down, and it does take time to get into a new rhythm. So please be patient with yourself as you're going through this transition. Okay. Okay. Leo Virgo cusp. Leo Virgo cusp. There's something here about you're fed up with either being alone or you're fed up with being isolated. Now, what I'm gonna ask you, I guess, is in this space is what have you been doing while being single and what have you been doing while you've isolated? Um, we all go through through times in our life where spirit isolates us, and it's not about avoidance, it is not about neglecting, and it is not about being like in a desperate energy of wanting connection or anything like that. The isolation usually happens when we are supposed to be going deeper within ourselves. We're supposed to be deepening our connection with spirit. We're supposed to be deepening our connection with ourselves, with whom we are, um, with whom we are, not whom we are with so and so, not whom we are in this environment, not who we are in that environment, but who we are as a whole. And yes, there, especially like when you're first starting the journey or etc. Depending on how your journey started, it may seem like a prolonged period of time where you feel like you're reconnecting with people and you're hanging out and this and that, and all of a sudden spirit pulls you out and it's like, nope, isolation for another 3 months, or isolate for another 3 weeks, isolate for another 3 days, isolate. And what I want you to understand is that by fixating about reconnecting with people or how lonely you feel or all of those things while you're supposed to be working on your connection with yourself, is just going to keep you in that cycle of constantly feeling frustrated whenever spirit tells you to isolate. The isolation is not permanent, is what I want you to understand. The isolation is not permanent. What happens during these spaces of when you're isolating, there's usually a frequency shift that is happening as you're connecting, like connecting more with yourself, as you're connecting more with spirit, to get you more into alignment with people that are in the same frequency as you, so that you can learn to detach in a healthy way, so that you can learn to have healthy connections, whether these are platonic or romantic. So if you're finding yourself frustrated during periods of isolation, then being completely honest and telling spirit, like, you know what, I'm not ready for that, I'm not ready for the stage, and not initiating the work maybe is what is needed. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with it, right? The truth is the truth no matter what, right? The work is still going to be there. The energy is still going to be there when you're ready to deal with it, when you're ready to do it. Now, why do I say the truth is the truth no matter what? I have a cousin, well, I have a couple of cousins that refuse to follow my channel, refuse to like, refuse to share, because they are afraid of knowing what is coming or what the energies are and this and this and that. And it's always funny because whenever we catch up over the phone, it is exactly what I said was going to happen, is exactly what is happening in their lives without me even having any contact with them during that period of time. But just because they're not ready doesn't mean that the energies are not moving. Do you get what I'm saying? Just because they're not ready to be open to it doesn't mean that what I am saying is a lie or it is not happening. So when you're ready to really dive into this part of the isolation that you're really frustrated with, then you come back to it, love. Nobody is forcing you to do it now. Nobody is forcing you to completely, some people are just not ready. And I always say, when you're ready for whatever it is, there's not going to be any doubt in your mind, right? Your soul, your spirit, your body, your mind, everything is going to be completely aligned to go with it. There's not going to be one hesitation. When spirit tells me, hey, we're isolating, like, let's go. 3 days, 7 days, no contact with anybody aside from those that live in your household. And sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's like you need to get away. Like, go rent a cabin somewhere in the woods by yourself for 3 days. I'm like, gladly, let's go. What do we need to unpack within this space? Because I know that that space is limited. I know that isolation is needed for something within me to be reborn, for something within me to grow. So stop running away from it, babe. And if you really cannot handle it right now, it is okay to tell spirit, like, you know what, I'm going to revisit this in a couple of months. Nobody is here is judging you. You have the choice, but do not go into something and then be completely frustrated with the fact that you're doing it. So here we have the number 37, the oracle's gift, right? This isolation that you're being asked to go into is a gift in itself. If you're not ready to receive the gift, again, there's nothing wrong with it. There are things within the space of isolation that you're supposed to be learning, that you're supposed to be releasing, that you're supposed to be healing, but only if you come with an open heart towards it. If you don't, it is going to seem like it didn't work. It is going to seem like a waste of your time because of the perception that you have to isolation. Alrighty? Alrighty, babe. Virgo, Libra, cusp. I wanted to say crusp. I don't know why. I don't know what is a crusp. Virgo, Libra. Let me stop. Let's clear it, please. Virgo, Libra, cusp. And as I say that, my throat started to sound. I'm starting to sound a little different, and I kind of feel like I have a little sniffle. For some of you, you're just getting over a cold, or be aware that just and again, I know that some of you are gonna be like, oh, I don't need a tarot reading for this. Sometimes you do, because sometimes people forget. To be honest with you, how one day or one slip of something can cause you to be sick or whatever it is. So what I want to say is I just make sure that you, especially like if you're somewhere cold or whatever, make sure that you're dressing for the weather. Don't assume that just because it's like 7 steps to your car, you can walk out in a t-shirt type of thing. Because a repetitive exposure to that obviously is going to get you sick. For others of you, this cold is mainly like sinuses and mm, so it's your sinuses and like foggy mind, foggy mind, foggy memory. I keep on hearing. And for those of you that is that, this is there's something, hmm, there's either some type of cleanse or something that you were doing to cleanse something. Maybe you were doing like a parasitic cleanse or something of that matter, and it's causing like some type of like sinus issue and some type of like foggy mind is what I keep on seeing. And it's more like something is being released or something is finally so how can I word it? Hold on, guys. Okay, so something spiritual. And again, this is going to be like depending on where it is that you are with your spiritual journey. In my opinion and my belief or my knowing from what I've learned through experiences, every every physical ailment that I have or I've had is in connection to something spiritually. Okay, and sometimes you have to just allow the physical symptom to pass as something is spiritually being healed or handled, right? So this is one of those things that it doesn't matter what you drink. Like you can drink Terraflu, you can drink Tylenol, you can drink whatever you want, and you're not going to feel any release until the energy that needs to be released is completely released. um this is not just a physical thing, if that makes any sense. Now, I'm not giving that advice as a doctor or anything like that. If allowing you to go through your day and through your week, you need to go see a doctor to make sure it's not something like, devastating or something like, death threatening or anything like that. Go ahead and do so, love. All I'm telling you is that even if you go to the doctor or whatever, they're going to tell you, oh, it's just a cold. That's what they're going to tell you. It's just a cold. But it is in reality something spiritual that is happening within you, that you're feeling the effect physically. And that's why it had to be brought up. For some of you, you have been feeling this for a while now. And as I'm saying that, I'm like looking at the card and I'm like, wait, let me finish my freaking train of thought. There has been a huge unclogging and clearing of your third eye, is what is happening. We have the number 36 and we have seeing beyond. Once this cold or whatever passes, right? Once you're on the clear from this, you're going to be able to start seeing better behind the veil. Does that make sense? You're going to start seeing beyond the veil. If you haven't, then you're going to start. And if you've started, like, these are gifts that are sharpening during this time. There's something about your perception about your gifts that is being clear during this time. Libra, Scorpio, cusp. This week for you guys, to be honest with you, there is a pretty good week. You guys are how do I word that? You guys are seeing the fallout of a relationship. Okay, I got it now. You guys, your perception of the fallout, excuse me, of a relationship that ended has shifted. You're no longer under the illusion, and again, there's no judgment here or anything like that. that you were meant to be with this person, etc., etc. You're seeing the experience for what it really was. You're seeing what it was that you were supposed to learn, what they were supposed to learn, the lessons that were learned within that space, and you're accepting the truth of how to move forward with this person. And the reason why I say moving forward is because this is either somebody that you have kids with or somebody that you work with or something like that. There is something that is still intertwining you guys that doesn't allow you guys to fully make a complete break. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the two of you are meant to be together romantically. Sometimes we confuse certain attractions or certain magnetic pulls to people as we're meant to be with them romantically all the time, when in truth sometimes you're meant to be either close friends with this person or whatever it is. And there is something of some truth or something that you're finally seeing for the first time, and this is bringing some type of calm serenity type of energy where you're feeling a lot more grounded, and you're feeling like you can finally move on from this. Because again, some of you may have been a little overly obsessing over whether you and this person were going to get back together, and something just clicks this week and it is released. And as we said, grounded, number one, the earth magic, you're feeling grounded within your decision, you're feeling grounded with where it is that you are now, and being able to see something for the truth of what it is really allowing you to move forward and to allow yourself to walk away from this person as a romantic partner. Scorpio, Sagittarius, cusp. This week for you guys seems a little like supernatural type of energy is what I'm picking up. You're catching certain shadows or certain figures from like your peripheral view. Um, you have been asking for clarity about your gifts or your purpose, etc., and there's something here that is unfolding or something here that is being revealed to you. So this week very much feels again like a supernatural type of energy. You're seeing the connections is what I'm picking up. I don't know in what, guys, again, these are collective readings, but there may be a specific niche or a specific field within spirituality that you guys are either training or have been studying, and you're finally seeing the connection within something or seeing the truth within something. um for others of you, this is initiating some type of study, whether it is that you're going back to school or you're doing some type of studying at home, but it is all geared towards your spirituality. It is all geared towards your spiritual practices. Some of you are wanting a confirmation whether this is the line of work that you're supposed to go into. um this may be studying either like demonology or studying something, and I'm going to use quotations, quote unquote, like dark, if that makes sense. And the only reason why I say dark is like so you can kind of understand like what I'm saying. Like this is not what, when people go down their spiritual path, this is not what people want to study, right? People usually want to go love and light, and it's like I love love and light, but I also love the darkness. And it's kind of like gravitating towards that space where there's something within like the shadows, or something about like shadows or darkness, or even the void, like that space void, or something of that matter that you're going into like studying or learning about. And as you're emerging within that practice or within that space, you start to see the connections. I don't know what they are. When you do find them, my love, go ahead and share them. So let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card as your closing message. Ooh, I like this. I like when people intentionally go into like learning more about like a specific type of thing within, oh excuse me, within the spirituality. We have the number 9. We have the rose's kiss. The Rose's Kiss. Give me a second. For some reason, I don't know why. I want to read what it says. I haven't picked up the book with any of the readings, and with you guys, I want to. So we have here joy, experiencing pleasure, deep satisfaction, enjoyment, desire, acknowledged, and the 5 sensory reality. So again, and the reason why I wanted to read it was because I'm like, wait, why are we getting the rose's kiss? There's something about like you guys connecting the dots or connecting something about like what you've been learning with the reality that we live in, if that makes sense. And for a lot of you, this whatever it is that you're learning, you're meant to be sharing it with others. Now, as I'm saying that, you're meant to be sharing it in a group setting. Whether it is that you hold classes to teach this, or whether you decide to do it for free, I don't care how you do it, but it's meant to be taught in small groups I'm picking up 10 to 15 people at a time so that you can actually dive into like the different aspects or dynamics of this, whatever this is for you. Alrighty. Sagittarius, Capricorns. Not today is what I'm getting. Um, not today is what I keep on hearing. Somebody doesn't want to deal with anything. Somebody doesn't want to deal with anybody. Somebody doesn't want to address anything. There seems to be this energy of exhaustion when it comes to a particular theme in your life. So whether this is like romance or at work or whatever, there's somebody that keeps on revisiting or wanting to revisit the same freaking conversation, but they can't freaking comprehend what it is that you're saying, and you're just like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this today. You know what, we're not going back into that. But somebody there is an energy here of somebody really being very insistent in wanting to either dissect a conversation that was had a while back or a comment that you may have made or anything like that, and you're just like, you know what, love, if you didn't understand it then, you're not going to understand it now. If you couldn't comprehend what I said then, you're not going to comprehend it now. And the thing is, like, this person or other people are looking at you like, yo, you really don't have to be this mean, and you're just like, who said I was being mean? I just don't feel like over explaining myself. I just don't feel like having like it's because it very much feels like whoever this individual is, they're used to people um sounds so fucked up, but they're used to people treating them or catering to them as if they were children, right? When you have to hold somebody, bring them, all of those things, right? And you're just like, no, you're not a freaking child, you're a grown up, and like I'm not doing this. For others of you, if it's not just a conversation, it's somebody wanting you to do almost like all the work, or somebody that wants you to basically like to carry the weight of something, and you're just like, no, no, no is no. Like, you're standing up for yourself. This may be something new, this may be a a change of pace or whatever. I was going to shuffle, I kind of did, but your card flew out and we have the number 5, body and soul. You're not allowing yourself to be pressured by anyone during this time. You're standing your ground when it comes to things, and you're that's pretty much what it is. You're just like, no, like, if something doesn't sit right with you, if you don't want to repeat a conversation, if you don't want to, take on someone else's work or take on somebody else's problems, you're not going to, and you have the right to feel that way. I just love the fact that you're standing up for yourself during this week with that energy. Capricorn, Aquarius, cusp. Right off the bat, I'm nauseous. Not even gonna lie, I'm nauseous. I want to get up and go throw up. There's something that you're picking up energetically that is making you nauseated. Whether it is something that you're seeing on social media or something of that matter, maybe a person that is approaching you or something. There's something that feels off about someone's energy, or some type of dynamic that you're seeing unfold. But you ain't saying shit about it. I'm being completely honest with you. If this is ooh, okay. So you may have like either a friend or a family member, somebody that is getting proposed to, or somebody that that is pretty much what it feels like. Somebody that's getting proposed to, and there's just like this icky feeling that you have in regards to it. Now, I'm just gonna say, whoever this person is that is getting proposed to, the person that is proposing to them has been like unfaithful in the past and things like that, and you have spoken your piece to this friend or to this cousin or whatever in the past in regards to them, but now you just be like, you know what, that's your choice. Like, I said what I had to say, but when you have issues with them, don't come to me. And that's kind of like that what I'm picking up. It's like you are picking up on the chaotic energy that is coming in with that proposal for that person, and is nauseating you of what that person, whether this friend or cousin, is going to go through if they go through with this marriage. But you realize that it is not your place to say anything. It is not your place to say anything, and that is probably the hardest thing to do. And as I say that, I'm speaking from experience, because I've seen people, I've had people where this happened to people, and I see them, and then when the divorce happens and things like that, they'll come up to me and they're like, well, you didn't say this, you didn't say that, and I'm like, it wasn't my place to. And it wasn't, right? If it was, spirit would have led me to it, or the person would have came and asked for my opinion. And in those cases when that has happened, neither of them, well, it's been more than 2 people, have ever come to me for advice. Instead, they would come to me and say, I'm doing the right thing, and they would speak so much about how right it felt that it almost sounded like they were trying to convince themselves to go through with it. And you have to learn at some point to have discernment that if somebody is not asking for your help or your guidance in something, you have to allow them, regardless of how harsh it's going to be, to learn the lesson while being in the mud of it all, if that makes sense. And that is kind of like the energy that is coming up here. We have the land between, number 40. So, and this makes complete sense, right? Let's put it this way, like, this is the reality, right? This is the person getting proposed to, and this and this and that. This is the outcome of what is really going to happen within this relationship. And you're right here, like, I can see all of this, right? Like the seeing and the premonition, whatever it is, that feeling, that nauseated feeling is right here. But it is not your place to tell this person that this is what is going to happen, because this person is not coming to you, excuse me, for advice. They're not coming to you for advice. And if you give your advice, I'm just letting you know you're going to be uninvited to that wedding. And you take it as you may. Sometimes we're meant to be there for people as a support system when something crashes or whatever. And I know that sounds horrible, but we're not meant to help everybody prevent certain things, because otherwise they're not learning the lesson. Aquarius, Pisces, cusp. There's an energy here of like running away, whether it is you or somebody else. Somebody is running away from some type of accountability. Somebody is running away from some type of accountability, not wanting to be judged in regards to something, or just not wanting to be responsible for what it is that they did. And that's what I said, because I really don't know if it's you or if it's somebody else that hasn't become clear yet. But there is an energy of like somebody running, like jetted out. It almost kind of reminds me of like when the dogs would take something off the counter, and if it drops to the floor, they run out of the kitchen like, no, it wasn't me, when you know it was them, right? It's almost kind of like that energy. Like, so he's like, like, seriously, dude, like, I just saw you do that. I saw you. I know it was you. You were the only one coming from that direction. So that is the energy that is kind of like it is surrounding you this week. So if it is you, again, without any judgment, learn to be accountable, or learn to take responsibility with whichever the one applies for the situation that you are encountering. And if it's not you, and if it's somebody around you, I mean, you can definitely call it out, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. If you're calling it out on somebody else, is not going to make a difference, excuse me. This person is very much used to not needing to take accountability or any type of responsibility in any scenario. um so just be aware of that. You can call it out, but nothing is going to change with this individual. If it is not you. If it is you, you're being asked to take responsibility for something. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card. What is the oracle? Close encounters, number 10. So again, like, that's what I was talking about, like, um that somebody, it's almost kind of like, that somebody is responsible for something, or that somebody should be accountable for something, but you're not catching them directly doing it, if that makes any sense. So you may not like, and this is just an example, guys, right? So like, let's say if you're dating somebody, you may not catch them in bed with somebody, but you're seeing the text messages between them and another person, right? And it is almost kind of like that type of energy that I'm picking up. Well, because you didn't catch them directly with somebody and it was just a text, they're not going to take any accountability, and they're going to pretend like this never happened. Does that make sense? I mean, it really doesn't, but that's their thought process. Like, until you catch me in bed with somebody, I'm just going to deny that it happened. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, you guys are texting about what you guys did last night in bed. That type of energy is what I'm talking about. Like, where you didn't catch me, so it is what it is. Like, sorry. Alrighty. Pisces, Aries, cusp, you are hungry. You are hungry for life. I mean, some of you are definitely a lot hungrier this week, but it's not that. You're hungry for life. You're hungry for what is to come. You're hungry, like, you just have like this unquenched like thirst or hunger for life, for getting out there, for taking risks. And I do like this energy for you guys a lot, because I feel that for a long period of time you were playing a very safe. You were playing it safe when it came to love. You were playing it safe when it came um to your finances, to your career, etc. And there's nothing wrong with playing it safe, but we always have to find that balance, right? And I feel that that is what you're doing this week. You're testing your boundaries, or you're testing some type of safety net that you had, right? And I like it, because this is happening because of some type like of, ooh, some type of expansion that is happening spiritually, where you feel filled, or you feel full of like energy from spirit. And bear with me as we go down this rabbit hole, that now you're craving or wanting that fullness in this reality. Does that make sense? So it is very much this energy of like, it's not just that everything and anything is possible, it is that I'm going to attain all that I once thought was impossible. There's a hunger for it. There's a hunger for it. No, it's not a hustle. It is not a hustle. Like some of you are like, oh, I'm gonna be hustling. No, that's not what it feels like. It's like, it's almost weird to explain. It's like when you realize that everything comes to pass in like the spiritual realm before it comes to pass in this 3D reality, you start to navigate that spiritual realm a lot different, and also this 3D reality as well. That's kind of like the only way that I can explain it. um some of you are either going to start or have started like, oh my god, what lucid dreaming. And I had to think about it because like that's the only way that I dream. So like a lot of the times I'll be like, oh no, in your dreams you're doing this and you're doing that, and people are looking at me like, what are you talking about, Perla? And I keep forgetting people trained to lucid dream, but that is the way that I've dreamt since I was a child. And there's a lot of like spiritual things that I do within my dreams, to allow my 3D reality be what I want it to be. And it's something within that space that a lot of you guys are doing, if that makes sense. All right. So let's, because like I was gonna shuffle, but it's like, no, it's here. It's here. Okay. I'm not even gonna bother. We have number 25, birds of a feather. Birds of a feather. There is this space, let's put it this way. I want to see what the book says because I haven't really read all of these, but there is this space where if something is finally clicking, or you're finally connecting with something in a way that you haven't before. Birds of a feather, sharing community, a sense of belonging, fellowship with like-hearted people, understanding the concept of we before me. So for those of you that are hungry, again, it is not the space of like hustling. um it would be a good idea to connect with other people that are in this space, other people that are doing what it is that you're doing. I don't know what it is, specifically. Again, these are just collective readings, but there's something that you have become aware of when it comes to the spirituality and this realm, the two realms and how they connect. And connecting to other people that are within the same space may be very beneficial for you during this time. I keep on seeing these birds of a feather as like the different aspects of you in different realms or in different dimensions, if that makes sense. That's the way when I first looked at it, that's what it is. Like that's what I see is like who you are in all of these different realms, like how you show up in the dream realm, how you show up in this realm, other realms as well. And how you can connect or combine all of those versions of you to pull into this reality what it is that you desire. Hope that makes sense. Well, that is all that I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.